This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnial Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. It is me, Hani Balkis, giving you everything you need to know about what's happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and all around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday, and thankfully, I am over my Monday blues. Yesterday, we had, Monday, and we finally could relate to the memes of, the rest of the world when they said, the Monday blues and Monday, is a depressing day. And it was a little bit depressing, believe it or not. But ladies and gentlemen, today is Tuesday. We got a couple more days left until we hit Friday. But ladies and gentlemen, in the news today, we're talking about UAE and how it is launching a new mobile service that will display identities of private companies. Do you ever get a random call at like 4 a.m. and you don't know who it is? You're like, who's calling me at this time? Well, you won't have to go through it any longer because the UAE has launched that new mobile service. We're also talking about how a South Korean agritech firm is going to develop a functional crops right here in the UAE. We do know farming and technology, especially agritech, is becoming very well, sprouting actually right here in the UAE. And, the South Korean tech company is jumping into it as well. And for our Tech This Out segment, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the world's first wooden satellite that is planned in Japan for a 2023 launch. A wooden satellite going all the way to space. What is that all about? Well, you have to tune in to know all about that. And for our gadget of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Samsung's new TV remote that uses radio waves from your router to stay charged. And last but not least, we're talking about Tesla and how it's going to recall around 200,000 cars in China over a collision risk. This just puts another nail in the coffin when it does come to Tesla. Tesla has been under fire recently, and Elon Musk, well, he doesn't have a lot to say. Ladies and gentlemen, do keep Pulse 95 locked because we're going to be right back, but we're going to leave you with Carry Me Away by John Mayer.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever faced the problem where someone random is calling you at like 4 a.m. and you don't know who the number is, and you Google search the number and it doesn't come out? And you're like, man, who could this be calling me at this time? Or it doesn't even have to be at 4 a.m., at any random time. And sometimes, I wouldn't want to answer, but I do have to answer because I have the fear of missing out. I want to know who's calling me. What if I won $1 million, right? You never know. But ladies and gentlemen, right here in the UAE, they have launched a new mobile service that will display identities of private companies. Now, that new feature will recognize caller IDs even if that number is not saved on the mobile phone. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Telecommunications and Digital Government Regulatory Authority, TDRA, has initiated a new feature that will identify the caller's name, landline, or mobile number of private companies on mobile phones. Now, the TDRA did take it to social media and posted a video with the caption saying, now hashtag Kashif is available for all. Now, the post also did state that the service will be applied on a gradual basis during the coming period. Now, the initiative is called the Kashif Initiative, and it will recognize the incoming caller IDs even if the number is not on the mobile phone. Now, that new feature will reduce the number of anonymous callers received by the residents and do provide information of the caller's contact before responding to the incoming call, because sometimes the bank would call me and I would be a little bit busy, but I wouldn't know it's the bank calling me. And when I answer, it's like, hey, honey, it's your bank, and we want to talk to you about a couple of things. And I'm like, I appreciate it, but I'm kind of busy right now. So having a caller ID, and especially, when it does come to private companies, and you will always know who's calling you, and you will know if you're going to answer or not. How many times I've answered a call that I didn't want to answer just because I didn't know who the person was. And, having this initiative right here is called the Kashif Initiative, and recognizing, the incoming caller IDs is very important. And, these anonymous calls, sometimes they do get a little bit annoying. But now we will have full transparency on who's calling us, whether it's a landline number or a mobile phone. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215. Let us know. Have you ever had an anonymous call and you were like, man, who is this? Happens to me a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about agritech right here in the UAE, how a South Korean company has dipped its hands into it as well. We're going to leave you with the song If It Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, when it does come to technology, it isn't only confined to mobile phones, computers, tablets, or even space. We're also talking about, ladies and gentlemen, how technology can be implemented and can be used very well in farming because, ladies and gentlemen, a South Korean agritech firm is going to develop functional crops right here in the UAE. Now, a South Korean agritech firm has announced plans to launch a nutritionally enhanced crops in the UAE after unveiling a new research and development project in the capital of the UAE, Abu Dhabi. Now, the Seoul-based Enthing has partnered with Smart Acres, which is the UAE's latest vertical farm, to launch the R&D project with 10 40-foot containers in the capital of the UAE, Abu Dhabi. Now, the purpose of this project will enable an extensive product portfolio and achieve crop improvement by producing higher yields and even enhancing nutritional quality. Now, throughout the use of biotechnology, Enthing, which is the South Korean company, is said to commit to reinvesting and focusing its efforts in implementing R&D technology to build a long-term and sustainable partnership with the UAE. Now, in collaboration with Smart Acres, the R&D unit will focus on developing crops with enhanced nutritional qualities, particularly for patients with severe diabetes, heart conditions, and even kidney disease. Now, the new R&D function does also aim to develop recipes for various types of crops, such as low potassium, low nitrate lettuce as well. Now, since its inception, Smart Acres has successfully produced a line of fresh, nutrient-dense greens for UAE residents and businesses alike. Now, sometimes people, they want whole foods. They want. I remember in the States, there was a supermarket called Whole Foods Market, and it was so expensive because it was Whole Foods, and everyone wanted to go there, but they wouldn't buy everything from there. They would just buy certain products that are known to have this high nitrate in it. But right here in the UAE, we're looking at how agritech firms are putting their hands together and producing crops that are friendly for us as well. Now, recently, this company has harvested mature species of lettuce that does exceed industry target weights for vertical farming, which, by the way, is a rare achievement among all vertical farms in the GCC region. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Enthing did formally launch operations in the UAE in 2020 after successfully completing its proof of concept in Abu Dhabi in partnership with Smart Acres. Now, this isn't the first time we've heard of agritech in the UAE. A lot of companies are now jumping on the bandwagon to produce more agritech and have more technology induced with farming, and it does go in support with local farmers as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215. What do you think about agritech? Are you with it or are you against it? Our text lines are open. We are taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about the world's first wooden satellite that is planned in Japan for a 2023 launch. Why are they good at going wooden? Could it be to be sustainable? Who knows? Well, I do know, so do keep Pulse 95 locked. We're going to be right back.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Tech This Out segment where we bring you guys the craziest stories that are shaping the headlines when it does come to technology. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the world's first wooden satellite that is planned in Japan for a 2023 launch. Now, a plan is underway in Japan to launch the world's first wooden satellite in 2023. Now, as its development team does aim to harness the environmental friendliness and low cost of wood in space development. Now, I did have a hunch that the main reason behind this was, obviously to be more environmentally friendly. Now, a satellite whose exterior is made out of completely wood will burn up actually, upon re-entering the Earth's atmosphere after the end of its operation, which will actually give less burden on the environment. That is according to the team compromised by Kyoto University and Sumitomo Forestry. And again, we are always looking at how space debris has been becoming an issue, and space pollution has been an issue. We have more than 30,000 satellites revolving the Earth or rotating the Earth as I speak. And, some of these satellites, once they're done with their mission, they are stuck in space or they are kept in space. And they fall, within time, within a couple of years, they'll fall as the gravity does pull them back. And boop, they re-enter Earth's atmosphere. And sometimes they end up in the ocean. And sometimes they end up in someone's house. But with a wooden exterior, it would burn up on re-entry and then, would be less of a burden to, take care of. Now, in addition to being environmentally friendly, it will be cheaper to make than using aluminum, which is the current mainstream material for satellites. And that is because electromagnetic waves can penetrate wood and the satellite can contain an antenna inside. Now, the planned satellite will be a cube with a 10-centimeter size, and outside it will be covered in wood and solar cells, and will hold an electronic substrate inside as well. So wooden satellites might become a new thing. We might just have wooden satellites for those quick missions that will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and burn up. But for more high-tech and more things that we want to be in space and for years and years to come, we might be looking at using, aluminum, the normal old-fashioned material that a lot of space agencies are using right now. But, when we say wooden satellite, I don't know why it reminds me of George Washington, believe it or not. Now, George Washington had wooden teeth, and at that time, it was revolutionary. And right now, a wooden satellite is revolutionary. That is just crazy how wood can be used in many different things, and even now as a satellite. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215. What do you think about using a wooden satellite? And would you use anything else that would be wooden? You know what I like using wood as? I like having wooden pens. Wooden pens have a pencil pen type of feel, but everything you write in it is permanent. Ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about Samsung and their new TV remote that uses radio waves from your router to stay charged. We got a lot coming in store for you guys, so do keep Pulse 95 locked because we're going to be right back.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
Samsung has took it to CES and introduced a solar-powered Eco Remote for its 2021 TVs. And Samsung is back again with a new version that does come with a pretty fascinating trick. Now, like the previous Eco Remote, this one can be charged with solar energy, but Samsung has also added a new feature, RF harvesting capabilities that will let the remote preserve its charge by collecting routers' radio waves and then converting them into energy. Now, that is pretty neat if you ask me. Now, you won't see this in many gadgets, mostly because it's really only practical for those low-power devices, but remotes also, and certainly fall into that category. Now, we do know that a battery on remote will last a while. It will last a couple of, I'm going to go stretching all the way to years of a battery remote. I don't know when's the last time I changed the battery on my remote, or my TV remote. But again, we're looking at, aside from the new RF harvesting option, the Eco Remote can also be charged from both outdoor and indoor light. And for the fastest results, you can, charge the remote over USB-C. Now, Samsung does say it's going to introduce a white model of the remote this year, which the company says is meant to better complement its lifestyle and the TVs like Frame, Serif, and even Sero. Now, Samsung has been, taking the approach of solar energy, solar powered phones for quite some remotes for quite some time now. And this new technology is groundbreaking. Let's say you have an internet router, a router in your home. Now that produces radio waves. So what the remote will do will intercept any radio waves being transmitted from your router to any type of device, and then store those radio waves and convert them into energy so the remote can be powered by it. Now, if that isn't crazy technology, I don't know what is, because, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that is basically wireless technology, wireless charging. And we do know at one point in time, we do want to, implement wireless charging on our phones as well. Have like one brick in our house that charges all of our devices. That would be pretty cool. And I'm waiting for the day where, we're not confined to wires. And all we need is just, like a power outlet or a device that will charge all of our phones and devices. Now, as for the original remote, the intention here is to obviously ditch the AAA batteries. And Samsung has actually previously estimated that switching to solar-powered remotes could actually avoid 99 million discarded batteries over the course of 7 years. Now, Samsung has also explored other ways of self-charging the internal battery, such as harnessing the kinetic energy that is created when the remote is shaken. Now, and it does also want to use the vibrational energy that's created when the microphone does pick up a sound, but this time around it is settling and adding RF harvesting as another way to keep the clicker functioning whenever you need it. Now, I think that Samsung has taken the approach of, being environmentally friendly. And 99 million discard batteries is not a small number. It's a huge number. And if we can eliminate that in 7 years and have everything be powered off solar energy or even this RF harvesting technology, that would save a lot of us, money. That's number one, because we won't have to keep buying batteries. And number two is good for the environment. And if it's good for the environment, it's good for me. But, ladies and gentlemen, you know what is not good for you? Tesla, because we're going to be taking a short break. And when we come back, we're talking all about Tesla and how it's going to recall around 200,000 cars. Why? Well, China has the answer. Keep Pulse 95 locked, because I'm going to be right back.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking all about the Teslas. Now, Teslas were cars that were supposed to be, the simplistic car that solved all our problems. It was electric. That means you wouldn't have to pay for petrol anymore. It was supposed to drive you to and come back from work, autonomous driving. It was supposed to be that car. And for a while, it did live up to the expectations, but within time, the more people started using Teslas, the more they realized that it isn't as good as they think it is. And now Tesla will recall around 200,000 cars in China over a collision risk. Now, Tesla is recalling almost 200,000 vehicles in China over problems with trunk and front hoods that raise the risk of collisions. Now, a state regulator did say on Friday that hours after a similar recall was announced in the United States. Now, Tesla has been under fire for quite a while now, and moreover, Elon Musk has been under fire. Now, this order is the latest blow to the American self-driving car pioneer, which is, by the way, very popular in China, although the firm's reputation has taken a hit this year following a spate of crashes, scandals, and data security concerns. Now, there was a lot of scandals, a lot of security concerns regarding Tesla last year, 2021. And China's State Administration for Market Regulation did say that the defects could affect the vehicle's backup camera or even cause the hoods to open suddenly while driving. Now, the move does cover 3 batches of cars that were produced between 2015 and 2020. So that's basically everyone who has a Tesla, because Tesla's kind of, popped off in 2015 all the way to 2020, and, we're still going on. Now, we do know that Elon Musk's electric vehicle company will start inspecting their cars for free and fix the issues. And the recall does include around 19,700 Model S cars that could have that latch problem with the front hood, and around 180,000 Model 3 vehicles. In the Model 3 cars, repeated opening and closing of the trunk may damage a cable for the rear view camera, so you won't have a rear view camera. And for the hood, that is even worse. Now, this will obviously affect the driver's vision when reversing, and even in extreme cases will increase the risk of collision. Now, that Chinese notice did come hours after U.S. authorities said Tesla was recalling almost 500,000 vehicles in the country due to similar problems. Now, Tesla did estimate that just 1% of the recalled Model 3 vehicles do contain the problem, and the company knew of no related crash or even injury. That is according to the U.S. safety regulator. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we do know that Tesla has been under fire for quite some time now and has been taking a lot of hits when it does come to PR. Elon Musk himself has been doing a lot of controversial stuff when it did come to cryptocurrencies, and even when it did come to his SpaceX venture. Now, what does this mean for Tesla? We do know that a lot of vehicles or a lot of automakers are now coming out and saying that their car can beat Tesla. And one of them being Lucid Group. Lucid Group's cars are off the chain. And I've been looking at Lucid cars, and it is also a US-based company, and they're doing great, and their stock market is going crazy. It's ridiculous how Lucid has took the market by storm. And just to put things into, comparison or consideration, imagine this, right? Saudi Arabia actually put $2 billion into Lucid, and now that $2 billion investment has reached $20 billion. So we're looking at, 10 times their initial investment. So if Lucid doesn't seem like a very adamant startup, then I don't know what is. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to know your guys' thoughts. With all these new vehicles or new automakers coming out and saying that they can mimic Tesla and be even better, and with Tesla taking so many hits, PR-wise, car-wise, and even a lot of people are saying Teslas aren't that good. 4215, let me know your guys' thoughts. But ladies and gentlemen, this does bring Future Talk to an end. I will be seeing you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, only here on Pulse 95. And you can consider this our little harder.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.